Now that your project's definitely complete, everything's been done, you've had all your final stakeholders, they've all been let know what's happening, etc. Look, what we need to do is, at the end of every project, we need to go through a project review, okay, which is so what happened, all right? And look, this is an important part of the project. You've ceased all the general operations, now's a good time to go through and start to wrap up all those little loose ends. So what we want to do is we wanted to have a look at, well, what happened, okay? All the different parts that occurred in the project, because what we really want to do is get better for next time. So what we do is we go through and we start to get a little bit of a look at our lessons learned. Okay, and remember, this isn't just for our benefit, but also the benefit of the people that follow on behind us. So that next time someone's planning a project, or ourselves or someone else, they can quickly look and see, well, what happened last time? What did people do? How long did things take? Remember all those estimations that we had to make at the beginning of our project? Well, we would have had better estimations if someone had done this beforehand, and we could look at their notes and see what it is. It's not quite like cheating on your homework, but you get the idea. It's being able to go back and have a look at the lessons learned. What did people find out last time they tried something similar? Okay, so we get a better understanding of timings and durations. Okay, we know how long things now take to do. We know how long, what the lead time is, what our planning times are. Okay, and that's going to make us more accurate next time. Because remember, we started doing all those forecasts and guesses, and we were dealing with that at the beginning. Well, now we've got solid information. So if we go off again, we know exactly what's happening. And that's going to make the future projects a lot more effective and a lot better for us. Okay, we also start to think about, the key learning. Okay, what experiences did we get? Okay, so that's a good one. So what experience have we got? What skills and knowledge were enhanced? Okay, so we know what skills and knowledge were enhanced, and what recognition did we put in place? So I need to think about the recognition, that people are recognised for their efforts, because people need to think about, well, what are they going to put in their resumes, qualification, credit checks, all that sort of gear. So all that sort of stuff needs to be sort of formalised and thought about, how are we going to record that, so we know who did what and where, so that, as I say, resume fillers or whatever it happens to be. The other thing about lessons learned from experience about, what did we learn about equipment? Did we learn anything about the equipment we can use and have people that are now qualified to use it? Did we develop new techniques? As a result of the project, did we develop a new way of doing things? Is there a new technique? Have we learnt something new? Have we worked out what equipment can and cannot do? The hard way sometimes, all right? And also thinking about our management skills. Okay, we need to get some time to review the management skills. So were we able to successfully negotiate with people? Were we able to resolve conflicts as they arose within the team? When people got tired and ran out of energy and there was the arguments, that sort of stuff, were we effective at it? Was our budgeting okay? Did we do okay at budgeting, or do we need to go and develop better skills for next time? What about the leadership team itself? If people were project managers and all that, how have we recognised that, or how have we documented that so that they can use that information for their personal and professional development, or also the organisational development? Okay, so think about, how do I train them better for next time, or how do I recognise those skills to try and build them within my company? Okay, the other thing is about the highlights need to be pulled out. So what were the good parts about the project? What worked really well, and that might be the sort of stuff that we want to communicate through Facebook, social media, our company newsletters, all that really good information. We need to go back through and pick it out and find out what happened that was good, that was sort of, story worthy. Because we want to tell people we've just completed a project. We want to start getting a bit of publicity and a bit of momentum around it. So having some cool stories in there that we can start to share with people, really important. Okay, and what are the opportunities to enhance our stakeholder relations? Okay, if we've just done something really good and we got some great information out of it, how do we bring that to the attention of our stakeholders to make sure that we can start to enhance and build that relationship with them, so that they come back to us next time, or they're happy to deal with us next time? If we were building in a community and at the beginning we had to risk manage, well, what if the community's not happy with things? And if everything worked, next time they come back, or next time we come back, they're going to trust us more. All right, so we need to think about, our suppliers. How do we enhance relationship with the suppliers? How do we enhance it with our team? What about with our customers? What else is in here that we can talk to them about, which is going to keep building that relationship and have them keep coming back to us. All right, so these are the things we want to go through and review. So our lessons learned, the timings and durations, how did that all work out for us? Did we gain any new experience, any new skills, any new knowledge? How are we going to recognize people? Have we recognized people? Do we find out a bit more about the equipment, that we didn't know at the beginning that we now know better, or we need new equipment for next time? Did we develop any new techniques or training or new sort of ways of doing things that were pretty useful? Our management skills, were they up to standard? Where can we expand? What can we grow? What can we do? What will we do different? The highlights, so the key things we got out of the activity, what was the really good parts, and the opportunities to keep enhancing those relationships and start to build that on. Right? So they're all the things you're going to start to want to review and put together. Right? Pull all those out. They're going to be great messages for you, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so one of the other things I need to do is I need to make sure that I'm also giving team feedback to the team members. Okay, so I need to make sure that as the project manager, I'm providing good feedback to my people. Nothing worse than, yep, thanks for that, job done, project over, I'll catch you later, and they walk off with no sort of further conversation. So we need to make sure that we sit down with these people and go through a few key things. And the first key thing that we need to talk to them about is, did we achieve what we set out to achieve? Yes, congratulations, we achieved it. Or, yeah, look, this is what we did, we didn't quite achieve the goal, or wow, we really didn't achieve the goal, let's talk about it. Okay, so the first thing they need to know is what happened, okay, to make sure that it's all very clear. Did we achieve what we set out to achieve in the project scope? The next one is did our project activities occur as timed? In other words, if we knew when we're expecting to do it, did it start on time? Were they at the right place at the right time with the right equipment, with the right training? Were they ready to go? Did it finish on time? How accurate was the planning? All those sort of things, really starting to understand what their role in it was and what they've achieved, okay? The next thing we need to talk about, feedback for them as well. With hindsight, are there any activities that we could do differently? Any activities we could have run parallel? All this is really good to get, to give to the team, to congratulate them on the job well done, but also to get their opinion on us as leaders. Was there anything we could have done differently? Were there any activities that we could have co-planned? Okay, so let's not assume we got it all right. This is an opportunity for them to talk to us as well. We need to also look at, how did activities that any of our people were responsible for, how did that track to the budget estimates? If we said to some of our team leaders, this is how much you got to spend, how did they go? Same, how did we go? Did we honour the obligations that we said we were going to do? And also to start to look at which activities ran over budget and which came in under budget, and start to look at why. So if things didn't work the way we thought they were supposed to and we asked someone to do it, let's find out what happened there. Same for us. We need to think about the feedback and sort of self-appraisal there as well to find out, what we could have done a little bit better. Other questions we might take a look at was, were the right funds available? Did they have the right resources? We might start thinking about, were there any other opportunities that arose as part of this? We could ask them that question or see what they've got. Same for us. Is there anything we could have done different? Is there any opportunities that we missed that we could have taken advantage of that they saw? Was expenditure monitored correctly? And also how correct was the financial administration? So there's quite a lot of conversations we can have there. Another one that you want to make sure of, getting feedback back about you as a team leader. That's two-way, by the way. I'm just going to emphasize that now because we're starting to look at, two-way comms, to you and to them. Was the project communication accurate? Did they feel that you communicated enough? Same for them. When you've hired these people, they came on to you with certain, you read resumes, you were looking for certain skills. Were their experience, skills and knowledge, was that acceptable? Also, did they feel the same way about their colleagues? Did they feel their colleagues were the right people that they had working with you? So did you hire the right people that you went? Also, same, things like training. Did you provide adequate training? Were they given, training opportunities to develop their skills? thinking about, what lessons could be learned for future recruitment. So, did we get the right people? Is everyone happy? So a lot on the skills and development. As I say, it's two-way feedback. Don't just think you're giving feedback to them. Make sure that you're getting feedback on your performance as well, and make sure that they're giving feedback on each other's team performance. All right, so the whole team should be left in no doubt as to exactly what's happened. Did we get to the goals or not? What worked, what didn't? What could be done different in future? What opportunities were missed, and going from there. So make sure you do that team review and a debrief. Okay, bring them all in. Okay, the debrief is a good time to get everyone back in there. Okay, so once again, if you're going to do performance management or provide feedback, not always, particularly if there's bad news, don't do it publicly, bring people in. But aside from that, you now need to debrief them. So the first thing to do when you're going to have a bit of a debrief, and I'll just line that off, because we're now going to do a separate activity. When we do the debrief, first thing is bring people in, nice informal conversation, just to get people talking as a team again. You may need to tailor your questions to issues that are going to warrant discussion. So, you want to get people comfortable. You're going to have a debrief. Okay, come in. Yeah, look, we're here to talk about this was the project. This is what we did. How did it all go? What do you think happened? Yep, great. And then you start to ask direct questions that you want to get to the bottom of. But think about how you ask them. All right, so we want to start thinking about getting their positive feedback as well. But think about things that if you know that you've got areas that didn't work out so well in the activity, make sure that you have all those sticky questions. That when you ask the question, if you know you're going to get a lot of information back that might be fairly negative, have a plan for dealing with that as well. Okay, there's an old line of don't ask a question that you don't want to know the answer to, but sure, you do need to know the answer, so you are going to have to ask the question. But think about, if you know the project didn't go so well, you need to have a plan for what are you going to do when you start getting very lengthy answers where people might not necessarily be so happy. If everything worked, it's great. It's high five, it's a couple of beers down the pub and everyone's having a great time. But when things don't work, as I say, just really think through when you ask the question, be ready to collect an answer. All right, so the last one is, now I've had a bit of a team review, get down to individual performance report. Okay, so be able to give each team member an individual performance report. That doesn't mean you have to write them all. If you've got people who are supervisors who supervise that person, get them to write it. Okay, but everyone should leave with some sort of a report or appraisal. And once again, it's the same sort of thing that you want to go back with them, sit down, have a bit of a chat, find out communications. As I say, once again, did you give them the right information? Do you feel they gave you the right information? Were there any aspects of their teamwork that you really want to focus on that was outstanding? Because this is a team effort, so keep it on that team level. How do they relate to the team? What were the factors that helped them achieve good teamwork results? And how can we distill their wisdom and their knowledge so that we can get other people to do the same thing? Okay, so if these people come up with really good ways of doing things, or they're really good people managers, or they're really good at relating to team, or had really good teamwork, you always want to try and pull that information out of them as well as to how they achieved that, so that maybe you can use that as far as training other people. All right, you might want to give a little bit of information about how they could improve as well, and how they could have related within their team. You might ask them about their management skills or leadership skills if that was their role. Also ask them a few little questions about how they really felt about, was the team balanced? Was the team the right team for them? How do they feel they worked within it? Trying to get that information out there as well as their personal results. And also think about asking people about, as they got to observe the team they work with, what additional training or support could have been brought in. All right, were they supported? Did they feel that they were given the assistance they required, etc.? Talk to them about conflict within the team. How do they manage the conflict within the team? Or your observations of how that was managed. How they handled it. What was their relationship like with the project manager? Did they get the right guidance? If they were the project manager, did you observe them giving the right guidance? And how was morale? So how did people feel during the activity? Were people feeling generally upbeat, or what worked, what didn't? All right, and then lastly, we come down to just compiling our lessons learnt. Okay, and that's really the last bit. We're going to pull those things out. you know, we know that things don't always work so well. The lessons learned, you know, no project ever really goes without valuable lessons learned. You know, we learned something while we did it. You know, and a few questions to ask yourself was, you know, what did you learn about managing the team? You know, were the skills of the people adequate? Did you have the right training, attitudes, levels of support? Was the right motivation there? You know, how did it all go together? What did you achieve? What did you fail to achieve? What was new? What was interesting, etc. Okay, so that's just your lessons learned. And look, that's going to vary depending on your project. There's no one way of doing it. But really, did I have the right skills? Did I have the right equipment? Did I give myself the right amount of time? What about the right resources? Did I anticipate all the risks? Did I manage to pick all my stakeholders? Did it generally work? You know, what was good? What wasn't good? What would I change next time? All right, and you might also achieve that through post-project interviews. So, you know, interview as many people as possible. Think about your project sponsor. Think about your stakeholders. Think about the project team as well as the resource suppliers, okay? They're all the people you want to get to. You know, any key stakeholders. But also, look, just in closing, make sure you don't avoid negative feedback. Okay, not everything's going to be great. Some things are going to have to be improved. And sometimes that negative feedback is the most valuable stuff you're going to get. So, yeah, you probably learnt a lot during the project or you learnt a lot during the activity, but it's the criticism that's really going to teach you some interesting points for next time. Okay, if you don't get the people dealt with right, you may have succeeded on the project and, you know, high fives all around and like this status and that's great. But if you upset your staff members and they're really annoyed with you at the end or your team, you know, that's valuable information. So next time you can look at how can I do this different. So don't avoid the negative. Make sure you embrace it. Don't try not to take it personally, as hard as that can be. Just learn the lesson that's there and then next time, change it. All right, look, that should be your post review. Key point is make sure you're pulling out all the wealth of knowledge. Don't just go job done, high five, let's all go home. Make sure that you really sit down and think through, what did I learn here? What can I repeat that was good? What can I cut away that was bad? What can I do differently next time? And reflect on everything you learned. Have a great time. Thank your team. High fives all around. Make sure, yeah, thank you very much. Let them all go. Project done. Ready to start the next one. Okay, good luck out there.